Rin, what is PPPM?
Oh, let me introduce you what is PPPM is. The PPPM 2013 until 2025 is a long-term national education plan introduced by the Ministry Education Malaysia to transform and strengthen the Malaysian education system so that it meets the needs of the 21st century. Before this blueprint was introduced, the ministry conducted a comprehensive review of the education system starting in 2011. During this process, they analyzed data and gathered feedback from parents, school, teachers, students, and education experts to understand the challenges faced in Malaysian education. Some of the key concerns identified included gaps in student achievement, differences in educational opportunities between rural and urban schools, and lastly, the need to improve the teaching quality. Because of these challenges, the government introduced 11 shifts in the PPPM to systematically improve the education system between 2013 and 2025. The shifts aim to improve access, equality, equity, unity, and efficiency in education. Therefore, for future educators like us, understanding this shift is very important because they guide how teaching and learning should be implemented in Malaysian schools. Now, let's start with the first shift. Now, let's talk about the first shift, which is to provide equal access to quality education. The first shift focuses on ensuring that every child in Malaysia has the opportunity to receive quality education regardless of their socioeconomic background, location, or personal circumstances. In the past, there were significant differences between schools, especially urban and rural areas. Some rural schools lack of sufficient facilities and learning resources also support for students. Therefore, this shift aims to reduce those gaps so that all students can receive fair and equal learning opportunities. Another important aspect of this shift is expanding access to early childhood education. Research has shown that children who attend preschool are generally better prepared for primary school because they have already developed basic literacy, numeracy, and social skills. From the perspective of the teachers, this shift means educators must be able to teach students with diverse backgrounds and abilities. Not all students learn in the same way or at the same pace. Therefore, teachers need to apply inclusive teaching practices such as differentiated instruction, where lessons are adapted to suit students with different learning needs. Teachers also need to identify students who may be struggling academically or emotionally and provide appropriate support so that no student is left behind. In other words, teachers play a key role in ensuring that equality in education is not only a policy but also a reality in the classroom. Now, let's move on to the second shift, which is to ensure every child is proficient in Bahasa Malaysia and English. The second shift focuses on strengthening bilingual proficiency among Malaysian students, particularly in Bahasa Malaysia and English. As we know, Bahasa Malaysia is the national language and plays an important role in strengthening national identity and unity among Malaysians from different cultural and ethnic backgrounds. At the same time, English is considered an important international language. It allows students to access global knowledge, scientific research, and international opportunities in education and employment. Therefore, students are encouraged to become proficient in both languages so that they can function effectively both locally and globally. To support this shift, schools are encouraged to provide various learning opportunities such as language clubs, reading programs, multimedia learning resources, and digital language platforms. For teachers, this shift means they should use interactive and engaging language teaching strategies rather than relying only on traditional teaching methods. For example, teachers can organize activities like role-playing, storytelling, debates, and presentations. These activities help students practice using the language in real-life situations and build their confidence in communication. Teachers must also provide additional guidance and encouragement for students who may be struggling with language learning so that all students can gradually improve their proficiency. Moving on to the third shift, which is develop values-driven Malaysians. The third shift highlights that education is not only about academic achievement, but also about developing students' character and values. The Malaysian education system aims to produce individuals who are not only knowledgeable, but also ethical, responsible, and socially aware citizens. This shift emphasizes values such as integrity, respect, responsibility, patriotism, and spiritual awareness. These values are important because they help students develop into individuals who can contribute positively to the society. In today's world, students face many challenges, including social pressures, technological influences, and ethical dilemmas. Therefore, schools play an important role in guiding students to make responsible decisions. Teachers are central to this process because students often see teachers as role models. Teachers need to demonstrate professionalism, fairness, and empathy so that students can learn these values through observations and interactions. In the classroom, teachers can integrate values education through activities such as group discussions, teamwork, community projects, and analyzing real-life situations. This allows students to think critically about moral issues and develop their own sense of responsibility. So, ultimately, this shift aims to ensure that education produces well-balanced individuals who are intellectually, emotionally, and morally developed. Now, let's explore the fourth shift, which is transform teaching into the profession of choice. The fourth shift focuses on making teaching highly respected and attractive profession in Malaysia. The success of a new education system depends greatly on the quality of its teachers. Therefore, the government aims to attract highly capable and passionate individuals to join the teaching profession. One important strategy is strengthening the teacher training programs, especially through institutions such as the Institute Pendidikan Guru Malaysia (IPG). These programs prepare future teachers by providing training in pedagogy, classroom management, subject knowledge, and professional ethics. However, teacher development does not stop after training. Teachers are encouraged to continue improving their skills through continuous professional development, including workshops, mentoring programs, and professional learning communities. This is important because education is constantly evolving. New teaching methods, technologies, and learning approaches are continuously being introduced. Another important aspect of this shift is career progression opportunities. Teachers are given clear pathways to advance in their careers, such as becoming master teachers, instructional leaders, or school leaders. This helps motivate teachers to continuously improve their teaching practices while remaining committed to the profession. Overall, this shift recognizes that high-quality teachers are essential for producing high-quality students and a strong education system. Oh, rubbish!
Alright. Alright. Now imagine this. A school without a good leader. Without good leadership, it becomes much harder for a school to run smoothly. And that is why Shift 5 focuses on ensuring high-performing school leaders in every school. School leadership is one of the most important factors that influence students' success after teacher quality. Effective principals guide teachers, manage school development, and improve both academic and non-academic outcomes. The vision of this shift is for every school to have a capable and effective principal. Principals are selected based on their leadership competency and must complete the NPQEL program at Institut Aminuddin Baki before leading a school. New principals also receive mentoring, coaching, and continuous professional development to strengthen their leadership skills. For teachers, this means better guidance from school leaders and more opportunities for mentoring and professional development. Okay, now let's imagine something else. Do all schools face the same problems? Of course not. Some schools struggle with facilities and some with student performance, and some maybe with both. And that is why Shift 6 focuses on empowering JPNs, PPDs, and schools to customize solutions based on their needs. The goal is that every school provides school quality and holistic education, and no school remains underperforming. Next, PPDs provide targeted support, especially to schools that need improvement. Coaches help guide principals and teachers to improve school performance. And on the other hand, schools also receive fair financial support, with more resources given to schools that need them the most. Another important part is school autonomy, where principals can manage budgets and school timetables based on their school situation. And lastly, for teachers, this means that more flexibility in adapting teaching methods based on students' needs. Now, let's talk about something students love. Technology? Honestly, sometimes students know technology better than teachers. And because of this, Shift 7 focuses on leveraging ICT to improve learning across Malaysia. Technology helps expand access to learning resources and supports more interactive teaching and learning. Through One Bestarinet, schools receive internet access and virtual learning platforms where teachers, students, and parents can share educational materials. Teachers can also access online video libraries of effective teaching practices, while students can use digital materials for revision. ICT also supports distance learning and self-paced learning, allowing students to learn anytime. And for teachers, this shift requires stronger ICT skills and a role as facilitators in technology-supported classrooms. The sky is already raining. Let's look behind the scenes. Education does not only happen in classrooms, it also depends on how well the system is managed. This is where Shift 8 comes in, which focuses on transforming the ministry delivery capabilities and capacity. The ministry restructures its organization to improve efficiency and ensure policies are implemented effectively. Next, leadership positions are filled based on competency and performance, while succession planning prepares future leaders in the education system. And moving on, JPNs and PPDs are also given greater authority in managing budgets and personnel, so they can support schools more effectively. And for teachers, this shift means stronger support from district and state education offices, which helps improve teaching and learning in schools. What am I going to do with this rubbish? Natasha, catch this! Did you expect that the can would hit me? Let me explain. Shift 9 from the Pelan Pembangunan Pendidikan Malaysia 2013-2025, which focuses on strengthening partnerships between schools, parents, communities, and the private sector. The core idea behind this shift is quite simple. A child only spends about 1/4 of their day in school. The rest of their time is spent at home and within the community. Therefore, if learning process only happens inside the classroom, we are actually limiting the full potential of students. International evidence also supports this idea. For example, studies from OECD and PISA show that students tend to perform better when parents are actively involved in their learning. Simple actions such as reading with children or discussing their school day regularly can significantly improve academic outcomes. In addition, Schools that collaborate with business and community organizations often experience higher student achievement and lower absenteeism rates. So, what does success look like under this shift? First, parents are expected to become active partners in their child's learning rather than only participating in school events. Second, the role of PIBG will become stronger, allowing parents to contribute ideas about school improvement. Third, the Trust School program will be expanded to encourage collaboration with the NGOs, alumni and private organizations. Now, let us think from an educator's perspective. Teachers must develop strong communication skills in order to build positive relationship with parents. They must also be open to feedback and willing to collaborate with community partners. In addition, teachers will take on the role of community connectors, linking classroom learning with real-world experience. Let me ask a quick question for us to reflect on. As future educators, how can we involve parents more actively in supporting student learning? This is something we should continuously think about in our teaching practice. Let's jump into Shift 10. Moving on to Shift 10, which focuses on ensuring that every ringgit spent on education produces meaningful student outcomes. Malaysia already invests a significant portion of its national budget in education, approximately 16% of federal budget. This shows that government's strong commitment to improving education. However, because resources are limited, it is important to ensure that these funds are used efficiently and effectively. The focus of this shift is therefore outcome-based budgeting. In other words, every program introduced by the ministry must be linked to clear student outcomes. Some key strategies include linking every program to specific student performance target, reviewing programs annually to identify those with low impact, redirecting funding toward high-impact areas such as teacher training and professional development. Last but not least, ensuring that financial aid is targeted to families who need it the most. From the perspective of educators, this shift has several important implications. First, teachers must understand which outcomes are prioritized in the education system. This means aligning classroom teaching with national learning goals. Second, teachers are encouraged to focus on high-impact teaching practices that directly improve student learning. Third, teachers may benefit from better professional development opportunities since more resources will be allocated to teacher training and upskilling. So, what do you think are the examples of high-impact teaching practices that truly improve student learning? This question reminds us that teaching is not just about covering content, but about making every learning experience meaningful and effective. Next, we will look at Shift 11, which emphasizes transparency and accountability in education system. This shift highlights the importance of ensuring that the Ministry of Education communicates openly with the public about educational policies, initiatives, and outcomes. In other words, stakeholders such as parents, teachers, and communities should have clear access to information about the progress of education system. Under this shift, several key actions are implemented. First, the Ministry publishes annual public reports to show progress towards the goals of Education Blueprint. Second, comprehensive stock-take evaluations are conducted at major milestones, specifically in 2015, 2020 and 2025. These evaluations assess whether the strategies are effective and identify areas for improvement. Third, the Ministry conducts national dialogues and surveys to collect feedback from stakeholders. For educators, this shift means greater responsibility and accountability. Teachers must maintain accurate records of student performance and classroom outcomes. They may also need to communicate information more clearly to parents and stakeholders. In addition, educators may have opportunities to contribute feedback to policy discussion, helping improve the overall education system. Ultimately, transparency ensures that the education system remains responsive, accountable, and continuously improving. When we look at all 11 shifts together, we can see that they significantly reshape the role of educators. First, teachers are expected to become lifelong learners who continuously improve their knowledge and teaching practices. Second, teaching will increasingly involve data-driven and results-oriented practices where educators monitor student progress and use evidence to improve instruction. Third, the profession demands greater professionalism and accountability as teachers play a central role in achieving national education goals. Fourth, there will be stronger collaboration and partnerships with parents, communities, and other stakeholders. Fifth, teachers are expected to emphasize holistic and 21st century learning, helping students develop critical thinking, creativity, communication skills, and strong values. Finally, educators must demonstrate adaptability to change as education reforms continue to evolve over time. In short, the role of teachers is no longer limited to delivering knowledge. Instead, teachers act as facilitators, mentors, collaborators and agents of change in the education system. To conclude, the Pelan Pembangunan Pendidikan Malaysia 2013-2025 outlines 11 strategic shifts designed to transform Malaysia's education system to meet global standard. This shift emphasized important aspects such as access, quality, leadership, innovation, accountability, and collaboration. For us as future educators, this blueprint serves both as a guide and a responsibility. Teachers are expected to maintain professionalism, embrace continuous learning, integrate technology, and nurture students who are knowledgeable, skilled, and morally responsible. Ultimately, education transformation begins in the classroom. As future teachers, we must remain dedicated, innovative, and committed to continuous improvement in order to shape the next generation of Malaysians. I would like to end this with a short reflection. Education is not merely about teaching subjects, but it's also about shaping futures. As future educators, we hold the key to transforming lives and building a progressive nation. Thank you.